still has a lot of mobility. Will do well against Jarvan Ahri at level 6, but before that, will struggle a bit. I think G2 have a lot of lockdown, so Human needs to be careful, but if you can play at range and Wunder can be that front line, they have a lot of backline there.
I think the idea is, as long as Kai'Sa scales, she's always going to have impact. As long as you get to that certain point of the game, she's always going to be a threat, regardless of whether she's in a poke comp or not. The one thing I will say, though, is she's still an AD carry. She's still very squishy, and you're playing into Ahri Jarvan. If you ever lose your flash, which for the record is not that hard to burn with Ahri by herself, you're in danger. And I think that Caps and Jankos, I mean, we saw Broken Blade ganking mid last game. I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit more focus came from Targamas, Jankos, and Broken Blade to try and shut this mid laner down.
Yeah, and while it has been mostly about the early game, we come into the mid game, late game kind of even. The one thing that I will say for Fnatic is that their late game scaling on their carries much more reliable. Both teams similar engage, similar amounts of disengage. Lethality, Xayah, and Ahri all up front burst damage, not to sustain DPS you get through from these hyper carries. And sometimes those champions are going to struggle against something as tanky as a full tank Gragas on the top side.
They're going to have to disengage, they're going to have to keep them arm's length, and you have to poke them with a little bit more backline damage. You need to be very careful of G2's burst, but if they can sustain it, then they can turn a fight.
The most important thing for me is we have seen Fnatic show us something different, and I think that was the most important thing, bring in something new to the draft, and now we just have to see how things will play out. We're about to jump into Game 2 of this Best of 5 series, so without further ado, let's play the music.
And into Game 2 we go. Look, Ahri on the audience, Ahri on stage, 2 Ahris. Here we go.
We had 2 Orans last game.
Hey, oh, what?
Yeah, we did in draft.
Oh, you're right, okay.
Now we have 2 Ahris.
Excuse, sir. Calm down. Big thing, of course. Here's my question. Fans in the audience, because you're here, so we gotta ask you questions now too. Fnatic fans, do you believe in your team? Do you believe in the comeback? Because Game 1 was rough. Let me hear it. Come on, Fnatic fans, where are you?
There it is. There it is. There's that Fnatic energy.
Great job. I see you over there, right side. I appreciate you.
The G2 fans are going to respond with TSM chants in a minute. Just watch, it'll happen.
Oh, or G2 chants.
G2 chants. That would make sense. The fans begin to cheer. Tensions rise on the bottom side of the map. Whoever has control of this middle bush is certainly set up for success early on. That said, Aphelios' early range advantage and sustain often can do work in this matchup. So, Caedrel, I know you're a top lane main now, but is it okay if I still ask you jungle questions? Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, great. So let's think about these jungle pathing right now. What do you think? What are your thoughts early on?
I think Jankos is going to do the exact same thing. He's going to do Red Raptors into into Gromp, sorry. But it looks like he's going for actually level 2 mid gank. This is actually really good. I think Red into Raptors. Humanoid trying to push the wave. Will he level up? He leveled up from the creep, but Caps needs to level up. So now Jankos has to wait for the minion.
He's going to be there. Caps waiting until the E has fallen away. Ooh, a little bit wide, anticipating the back step.
You're right. He was looking for a side step from Humanoid there. There's 2 outcomes in that exchange. Well, 3 actually. If Jankos flashes, Humanoid will flash. If the charm hits, he's dead. But the thing is, the movement can go either side. It was a 50-50 for Caps, and Humanoid called his bluff.
You know, Mark, you taught me a very valuable lesson when I was learning jungle, which was that if you're playing Jarvan and you're not ganking, you're playing the champion role.
Yeah.
And I've been impressed with Jankos so far in these first 2 games. Literally level 3 gank bot, level 2 gank mid.
Yeah.
It feels like that he's almost been inspired by Malrang's playstyle, you know, where it's just gank, 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 gank. He's even running the first strike,
right? He just copied his homework. But yeah,
Jankos make it too obvious, you know.
And then you'll look for more action, I think.
Yeah, and Jankos obviously a player that we naturally have our eye on because of how important jungle has been across the entirety of playoffs. And against Vitality, it wasn't an all-star performance. Ultimately, they did find the win, but it was not the Jankos shows. Versus Misfits, it was absolutely the Jankos show. So we wanted to know what we were going to see today. And from Game 1 and what we're seeing Game 2, this man is being super active on the map.
Is he looking for a mid gank? This is a very awkward gank.
Oh, how is... Jankos is alcove gaming right now on a wave that's bouncing into them. Razork is moving down to the bot side as well. Whose bot lane gets level 3 first? I think Fnatic's will.
Level 3. Jankos waiting in the dark.
Jankos
saying has a play. He's going to deny it, but there's the hook, there's the fall. They need to burst down one member if they want to come in on top to flash in. That's going to be first blood. Razork has to be careful now. Jankos surely going to fall, but can G2 keep this one going? No. Razork now pushing forward. Another Q surely means death for the side of G2.
Feathers getting pulled back. Mark is there for upset. Bit more damage onto Targamas, but no one else will fall.
Very creative play by Jankos, but unfortunately it ends up in a 1-for-1. They get first blood, which is great, but the problem is G2's bot lane was level 2 and FNC was level 3, so they have a natural advantage in that skirmish.
They certainly did, and you can see that Jankos just sees the opportunity, so he doesn't hesitate. Just as he goes for the engage, though, that's when Razork shows up. They don't have information on where Razork is on the map, and it's literally, as the engage comes through, that Razork waits to pounce.
Great chain CC though. Knock up into hook, into root, into the pullback of feathers. By the time Hylissang flashes, he's basically dead, but great turn by Razork.
Wait, did he actually have the pullback of feathers?
That's what I thought as well, but this is where Flakked uses it again, I believe, a little bit later on the fight, and I thought, wow,
you're right.
He does have it. Maybe it was on cooldown, he didn't have it for that fight, and the root didn't hit, but I was worried that Flakked might not have it for the level 3 because QW, having the E is so important.
You have to imagine that Razork is going to be pretty happy with that, getting a kill onto the enemy jungler, getting a bit of a refresh on those double buffs as well. Ultimately, getting a little bit more agency in the early game with this Lee Sin is definitely something that we wanted to see from Razork, but Jankos once again on the gank path.
Broken Blade continuing to trade aggressively here on the top side. Jankos moving forward, waiting on the flag and drag for now. Body Slam can obviously interrupt it. Flash out from Wonder is clean.
So Jankos was going for a mini predict there. He would have hit him regardless if he didn't flash, but he thought maybe to flash in that direction. If he went the other way and went for a full predict, he would have missed the initial, and then Wunder could just laugh at him without having to use his flash. But the thing is, that's the third gank from Jankos in 5 minutes time, and Razork's only up 1 camp.
Hook goes in and goes out. Humanoid just firing back a little bit of damage here. Targamas not able to get anything off of that roam.
I love emotes in slow play.
What's your favorite?
Well, I really like the one Caps used last game.
The Soraka,
but
this is fine.
My actual favorite one is when teams use the former team logos. I think that's the biggest BM, and it's just so good.
Do you think Wunder has a G2 icon ready to flash if he gets
like
some kills? He must, right?
Yeah.
Scout approved is always going to be the best in my books.
Shell shock, dude. The little scared crab. Good.
Shell shock.
It's good for everything. You're actually scared, shell shocked. You're not actually scared, shell shocked. It's never wrong.
There's never a wrong situation.
Does Targamas have information? He's question mark pinging this Grump. Fnatic really aggressive in the early stages. You can see the difference Fnatic have when their support actually has impact on the map. Hylissang's not behind. You can see him moving with Razork.
The position here for Fnatic is good.
Darkness, they can interrupt the flag and drag out. They're waiting. The hook's gonna come out. They think they might have enough burst damage just to kill Jankos. In goes Kai'Sa. That should be it. Flash forward. The auto. Humanoid finishes the job there. Flakked and Targamas on the way forward. Caps trying to charm out, and he is gonna get the connect. Now Razork going in. The Lee Sin damage is big. Caps running for his life. Flakked stepping forward. Lethality damage coming out. Not quite enough. Hylissang the flash into safety. Caps now doing all right. Nice sidestep again, but he has to go into Humanoid. Oh, that's just not a good deal. Humanoid grabs another one. Flakked, no, Targamas will get the kill back.
So much fighting happening on the map. It all comes from bot, and then it moves slowly towards mid. I believe that was a 2-for-2 in the end, but Humanoid gets himself 2 kills. Caps dashing in, back and forth. Maybe could have got out before dying to Humanoid, but this all comes from Hylissang being in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, the Fnatic have so much more agency and aggression in this early game. And you can see the chain CC combo from Hylissang makes it very easy for Razork to land the Q. Jankos deciding to go backwards, perhaps expecting to be able to get a bigger knockup onto multiple members, but ends up falling short anyway. Can't quite get to the cone. Good charm then comes through from Caps.
Yeah, beautiful charm. Then Caps just throws out all his burst. Thought Hylissang was dead here from the Saya QE combo, but the hook doesn't hit and Hylissang levels up. Caps flashes away from the hook as he kills Hylissang. Dashes away from the Lee Sin Q. He's scared to move backwards, it looks like, so Humanoid can finish him off, but really extended fight, 2-for-2. Now we've got action in the bot lane.
Hylissang, another hook going to connect. That's going to be the snare follow-up. Upset perfect guns to keep the fight going. Instantly, Targamas drops, and Fnatic are alive in Game 2.
Oh, night and day from Game 1. The bot side of the map for Fnatic. The jungle for Razork is night and day as well. He looks so much more comfortable on a playmaker. 2-0 and 2, 100% KP. Jankos on the bot side again, down a level from doing so many ganks. And Hylissang and Razork look like they're both completely on the same page right now.
I mean, you said it, Kadril. The difference is Razork between Game 1 and 2 is absolutely massive. His Diana, you just have less agency on that champion. But the moment you give him Lee Sin, look at how much more active on the map. Look at how well he's working with Hylissang. And it is Fnatic currently dominating the early game. This has only amounted to about a 400 gold lead for the time being, mainly accruing in the mid lane. But still, Fnatic definitely on the board.
It's important to note that no Herald has dropped yet, no major objectives have dropped yet. That could be what blows the map open. But for now, Humanoid sitting very comfortably in mid lane, scaling up. A lot of the early game setup from G2 not working out quite as well as it did in Game 1. Means the mid game for Fnatic is so much easier.
Look at the minimap. Look at Razork and Hylissang moving together. They were moving from base at the same time. It's a very common thing in pro play to base together, so you're on the same tempo, so you can do plays at the same time. And you can see Hylissang waiting for Razork. The second he finishes red, they can move into this bot side jungle, contest vision. Herald is up though, so maybe they want to transition to top side, so we'll see them hold hands through mid. See what Hylissang's doing. He's looking for Caps here, who has ultimate. Maybe they can force it. Razork.
Again, Hylissang, not even going to fish for the hook here.
And the difference is Targamas and Jankos run opposite sides of the map. Now they're going to come together. This is where the 3v3 mid-jungle support comes in, and G2 are looking for a face check.
Razork stepping in. They're going to look to just burst him down. They have more than enough CC and damage to finish the job. Shutdown goes to Jankos.
So this all comes back to them coming out of base together. Why does Fnatic try to set up bot side? Because they move into the bot side, then they second guess themselves like, hang on, Herald's up. Let's go towards Herald, but G2 are already there. And they find a pick and they find the objective. We'll see if they can find another cross map here, Fnatic.
I wonder if they got caught off by the fact that Targamas was also just sitting in mid lane, appearing on Vision. He was clearing out a ward there, and I wonder if Fnatic felt like they could guarantee a numbers advantage by posturing as 3. The thing that they didn't respect, it seems, was that the burst damage that could come out from Caps and Jankos was more than enough to kill out Razork, and all of a sudden G2 find themselves back with control.
And this is something you brought up in draft, Vedius, is especially in the early game when it's just base damages. The Ahri and the Jarvan combo is just so lethal, and Razork caught for a moment, instantly chain CC'd to death, and that's a mistake Fnatic cannot afford to make twice, as the Herald is now fallen in favor of G2.
The terrifying thing about the duo is that they really just set up for each other. So there's Targamas appearing on Vision in the mid lane. Fnatic and Razork, they're a little bit hesitant to face check. They do drop a ward, but then look at this damage. The charm guarantees the EQ combo into the ultimate, and then it's just that last basic attack from Jankos that's able to secure the kill. Just very deadly, very punishing.
It's an Oscar-level performance there from Targamas. Hang on a second, though. He's going on to Hylissang.
Goes in, upset firing back with a little bit of damage. Good follow from the abilities. Feathers are going to fly. Hylissang already down, and the game started good for Fnatic, but G2 firing back much harder.
Wow, just like that, 2v2 kill for G2's bot lane. Hylissang had flash, but the ultimate chain CC just means that he's as good as dead, and now G2 will get themselves a dragon. So again, we see in Game 2, both neutral objectives going over to G2.
And huge props to Flackhead. Think about how much Targamas has been on the map. Think about how much pressure has been thrown towards the bot lane, but it is Flackhead that's actually ahead in CS. You've got to remember that going for this early lethality gives you so much burst in the early game as well, and it seems that Hylissang was just not respecting the damage. G2's bot lane definitely coming up clutch as we see top laners slap each other.
And we have to adjust our expectations, because last game this was a murder fest, but now it's a Gragas versus an Orange, so probably no one will die ever unless a jungler comes up here, of course.
Was it Maokai Cho'Gath when it was like the wet noodle fight in like season 6, season
This is
7?
also a wet noodle fight. Ornn kind of broke the wet noodle fight meta because he just does so much damage from that period that he was the assassin, tank,
Bard, Paladin,
everything. Yeah, we all remember that period. Kick gonna come out. Hook follow-up goes a little bit wide there. Flacken now falling with a bit of damage of their own. Razork! Ooh, okay.
Tricky lantern to click there. I think the pink was just a little bit off from the center of it. Razork would have died or had to flash, but gets away. Still up a level on Jankos.
G2 for the time being. They sit in control. How quickly the tides turn after securing 2 back-to-back picks. They only have 1 Drake so far. First one was secured, along with the first Herald, so G2 so far this series have really been on the ball when it comes to the objective game, and now they're trying to funnel more resources into Flackhead. They did this Game 1, they're doing it again in Game 2.
3v3 on the bottom side. Jankos running out of time to drop that Herald and still get plates, so we will opt to do so here on the bottom side. 3 members of Fnatic in the area means they're not likely to get much past the 2 plates it guarantees. The hook coming in from Hylissang.
Are they going to get it? The smite.
Coming out, they deny it.
Oh, that's pretty big. That just kind of negates the entire Herald play. So Fnatic will be able to defend the tower. No plates into Flackhead's back pocket. Bot lane won't be as tough as it would be if the plates would fall, of course. G2 aren't done, though. Maybe they want to stick around for a little bit. Razork wants to base and go towards his top camps, but Jankos is happy to give them up.
Bit of pressure there. Upset, obviously, decent setup if they do want to stick around, but always hard if you're not 100% sure about Flackett's ulti timing. It is coming off cooldown now, so potentially a small window there, but they will not find it.
Also, I think the big problem Fnatic have is Upset hasn't based in a long time. When I look at the items right now, Flacket's sitting on a Mythic with a tier, longsword, boots have come in from the runes, of course, but now Upset's just completed a full Gale Force. I think G2 realized, hang on a second, Upset hasn't based in so long. He's really weak right now, doesn't have any items, so let's force towards the bot side of the map. Now he has based, he loses the wave, and G2 will probably match it soon.
G2 continuing to play the map well. We praised them in Game 1, and we have to continue praising them here in Game 2. For the time being, no major objectives on the map for either team to play for. So
big damage.
Both teams, massive damage. Look at it.
Huge damage.
Look, just wow.
Hey, he's a top lane main now, right? He's,
Bursting each other out.
He recognizes the windows.
There was kill pressure there.
Yeah.
Couple hundred more of those.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 abilities from now. You might have been right. Speaking of no kill pressure, let's talk a little bit about Kai'Sa mid. It's a champion not a lot of people are used to, but if you don't know, it's just really all about the evolves early on. Getting closer and closer to the AD evolve, the Q evolve on the Acathian Rain is going to be big for the Kai'Sa that builds AP. W, arguably the most important, that Void Seeker. But for now, Humanoid does okay damage,
But when he spikes, he's going to spike incredibly hard. So something to keep your eye on as we move later into the game is when he hits that 100 AD threshold. He's still pretty far away for now. And similar, that 100 AP threshold to have both evolved abilities.
I believe with the Man Immune, the runes, and the longsword, he has the upgrade. Hang on a second. Flag has the ult here on Upset's gravity gun to make sure he's on guy. Rudo, Razork!
Back, Upset, easy follow-up, easy setup. Targamas, no aftershock. Might make it out to safety. It's clean movement. The Q misses. Shell shock, baby!
Wow! Targamas just swags on them. Upset and Hylissang do not commit the flash. The ignite is still up for Hylissang as well.
Oh, that was iconic with the shell shock emote, wasn't it?
We were talking about it.
Oh, Targamas knows your favorite emote, Dracos.
And that right there has got to feel good.
Oh,
when
yeah.
when the crowd chants your name after you just make a swiggity-swaggity play.
The thing
What
is,
are the words you're using?
That's what it is. It's
Swiggity swaggity?
Swags it off and swiggity swag.
It's dance lingo. You wouldn't understand.
Okay.
Are you saying he can't dance?
I'm saying that he's not done it professionally.
Well, I
It's
see if
humanoid.
Humanoid can dance. It's looking like no. Ooh, broken blade. Bit of a whiff there, but does not matter. Caps will still grab the kill.
No swoopity swoop there for Humanoid. He's going to drop, and this should be a first tower secured for G2. Oh, look at
Razork
Targamas
going
though.
in.
That's a lot of damage, but Caps has no more
Has the
ultimate
ult?
charges.
Not going to use it. All right.
These are there.
Building up
They
the
can get
tension.
this mid-tier one, though. Humanoid respawning in 10 seconds. Won't be able to TP to it, so first tower over to G2. Bot tower is low, of course, on both sides, but that death is going to unlock the mid lane tower, which will affect the rest of the map.
G2. In game 2, there were a few moments in the early game where we finally saw Razork come online and things were looking good, but sadly, despite a lot of the tension down on the bottom side, Hylissang having a rough game. Yeah, top lane, they're still fighting.
damage.
It doesn't stop. What? No.
The thing is, you're just both tanks and you're just looking at each other, and you just have to watch your team fall before. I've had this experience now as a top laner. You just kind of have to stand in your lane, farm up, trade every now and then, put a couple walls down, and it's just a 4v4 game.
You know what my favorite part about this is that when you were a jungler, you like flamed everyone else but jungle, and now that you're a top laner, you flame everyone else but top lane.
It's true, actually.
Yeah. It's always not your
Almost
fault.
like that when your perspective shift.
It has shifted. I don't like junglers anymore.
The best thing is it's not empathy, because he'll just switch again if he
it's
goes
not-
back to jungle.
It's like, wait, top laners were right, but hang on. look at Hylissang.
Flash. Jarvan's just going to be right there, unstoppable in the animation. Yanko's caught out. He has no mana, so easy kill pickup for Fnatic.
Hilly flashes forwards, but then Jankos is the one to ult on top of him, so the play worked. Razork has kick. He could ward jump. Kick. No, he's not going to do it. Has the ward. Will get the Raptors. Hilly forces a play out of Jankos there. Two veterans just going head to head.
I just love the fact that earlier Hylissang hadn't used his flash, hadn't used his ignite, and he said, regardless of what happens, all of my summoner spells will be used. But props to him, he did interrupt the EQ from Jankos, preventing him from getting out to safety. Because of course, one of the cool combos you can do in Jankos is ult into EQ and basically just trap the enemy team in the pit while you disengage. But Hilly was aware of it. We'll see him interrupt
But
it.
I would love to see this from Hylissang's vision, because he has a pink ward on Crab, and then he just knows that something's going to happen, and then Jankos is the one to ult onto him to try and cancel the hook. But like you said, it's the Flay interrupts that EQ combo from Jankos, and they end up getting the kill. I mean, Thresh to me is not an engaged champ. Braum is not an engaged champ. But when it's Hilly, it's an engaged champ.
That was the mental game there, as Broken Blade. If he times unstoppable right, he should be able to get away from Razork, just trying to get out of range of the kick. Holding onto the W as long as possible. Flash out to safety, knowing he's dead if he uses it too early.
Broken Blade lives to fight another day.
Caps getting aggressive. Hylissang on the way. Lantern's going to pull him out, but Humanoid's still locked up. Look at all the damage, and again, you see the combo work its magic. Wonder on the way down, however. Caps only one dash remaining. Yanko should have the flag and drag back up, and it looks like they're not going to try to commit for anything else.
I mean, the first 5 to 6 minutes, Fnatic was fighting back, but 3 outer towers to G2. Everything's gone their way so far on all these plays, and everything Fnatic have tried to do is backfired. I mean, the last thing they did with this bot play, Razork looked for the kick flash, Targamas lives. From then, it's just been all G2, and yeah, Fnatic need to find some kind of plays on the map right now. They have got good poke, and they did deny that second dragon, so Soul will be a very far away, but I mean, for now, again, another Herald to G2.
And I've just got to say it. Claps is back, man. The guy is playing like an absolute machine. Game 1, we saw his creative usage of the teleports, overstaying in lane to find a pick on the Wonder, which then secured a Baron. And now in Game 2, he's already been involved in 5 of the team's 7 kills. He's 3-1-2 on the scoreboard. He's working towards his death cap second. The man is just a machine so far in this series, and it feels like through playoffs, he has progressively been getting stronger and stronger.
And versus Misfits, he absolutely dominated, which was massive when you take into account how good VTO was in the regular season. G2 absolutely shut him down. But a lot of people were saying, hey, hey, Misfits, not the scariest team in the playoffs. The fact that he's showing the same level, this incredible dominance in a matchup that previously he struggled against Humanoid in when Humanoid was on the LeBlanc is massive for G2, especially if we look ahead towards finals.
And I think that's the important thing. It was Humanoid that took his title away from him. Let's see if Caps can get some revenge as Fnatic collapse onto Broken Blades.
No flash.
You force forward. We're going to look for the root to deny anything else, but he's unstoppable for now. The knockback is big. Hillesang now being in trouble. Caps pitching off on the backside. He can't stick around for too long, but he will be able to finish off Hillesang. Targamas on the way in. Broken Blade still standing. Oh no, that has to feel terrible. Humanoid spotted out on Vision as well. Flacken moving down. Fnatic are falling apart. The charm connects. Wonder there to body block. It's a 4v4 on the bottom side.
His blade may be broken, but his poise never will be. The man stands his ground, and in a 3 versus 1, finds the outplay, walks away with a kill, and G2 find themselves once again ahead.
I was a bit confused by Caps' TP because I thought Broken Blade was dead. Look for a play on the other side of the map. No flash either, but still not enough damage to kill him. And I think it was actually a 4v1 for a little bit of it as well. Humanoid wasn't in range, doesn't have as much backline damage as Upset, for example, but will be poked. But if that's how long it takes Fnatic to kill Orin, I'm a bit worried for killing the rest of G2. Rabadon's complete on Caps. He's extremely fed right now, so let's take a look at this one again.
Okay, so let's have a look at the combo here from Broken Blade, and I want you to keep your eyes on his use of the W, because he's going to use it to mitigate a lot of the CC, which then allows him to land the ultimate so it doesn't get interrupted into the 3-man knockup. Yes, his E gets flayed, but it doesn't matter. He's done his job. He's bought time for Caps to arrive to help get the pick, and they end up walking away with a kill.
Big thing here. All of the armor means the Lee Sin, means the Aphelios. They just don't do damage. And yes, that was my reaction too. How? How did that happen?
From Hunt's face, it's kind of like, yeah, sure, we'll take that. Sure, that'll work out.
Herald used to hit onto this bot tier 2. Caps is on the way down. We'll see if they decide to commit fully for it. Dragon in 15 seconds. G2 sitting around a 4,000 gold lead right now. And Fnatic, I mean, if they want a team fight, Orin is going to be a problem, yes, but they need to poke out some of the carries first. The problem is G2 have so much playmaking, whether it's Orin, Ari, Jarvan, Nautilus. You talked about it in draft videos. Razork is the only real person who can look for playmaking on the side of Fnatic, maybe look for some kind of flank, but it looks like they're just going to give this Dragon up.
To a certain degree, Wonder as well, but you can see he's just been trapped in a sideline, catching these waves left and right, hasn't been able to participate maybe as much as he would like to. Humanoid, 2 evolves, that is the Q and the W up and available. He does big damage, he's got solid poke, the all in there with the evolved Decathlon Rain is good, but sadly, they're just down 4,500 gold. So while if they were in an even state, he would be incredibly powerful, he's just so far behind his mid lane counterpart.
Certainly is. Of course, as the game progresses, that poke will only become more and more ruthless. But it's the problem that I think Fnatic find, like, well, the thing that I'm noticing is, number one, Humanoid's ability to have agency is definitely very limited. When we compare the two mid laners, the main reason why Caps stands out is because you talked about in Game 1, Cable. On Ari, Caps gets to make his own decisions, make his own plays, and you can see him influencing the map pretty much everywhere and anywhere. Whereas Humanoid is very dependent, especially on this champion, on some type of setup coming from elsewhere on the team. And right now, especially in this champion, he has to wait and scale, and Caps is looking for another pick.
Trouble, slow not connecting is big, flash to the side, maybe feeling confident there, but Voidseeker missing is big. Of course, you get the cooldown reduced if you do manage to connect on a champion, otherwise very long cooldown.
Like trying to play topside here. Hillesang's just taking the Hex Gate. No fear whatsoever. They're trying to play for this top tier 1, it looks like. Broken Blade doesn't have TP and Wonder does, so for the next minute or two, it does look like Fnatic will have a numbers advantage towards the top side. G2 respecting it. But there are 4 men in this tribush. They could look for an engage, but Upset's just going to push this wave out.
I know this is a little off topic, but I really would love to talk to Caps about his build. Game 1, he went Void Staff. Game 2, he's just rushed Death Cap. I don't know why he doesn't like Shadow Flame. Like, it's such a good Ari.
Also, there's like a tank on the enemy team this game, and this is the game he doesn't go Void Staff. So I am similarly perplexed, my friend.
I mean, if he does get onto the Kai'Sa or the Phoenix, they're as good as dead in one lockup CC. And maybe he thinks that he'll find his way around the fight, flank or dash enough forward to help Jankos. I mean, the Ari does have so much burst, and it's one of those things where when you're so fed and you have so much gold in base, you're like, oh, Needless will do well. Oh, another Needless in base? Oh, Rabadons, you know? I mean, there he's building towards the Void Staff now to help deal with Razork and Wunder.
Lightning Jewel coming out for both sides here, so a bit more damage to the tank here, members of the opposing side. Targamas
already, though, with
That's
the
a
Randuins is pretty big. Look at most of the damage is AD. Kaisa is going to be a little bit more on the AP side, but a Cathy Rain still physical damage there, so is going to do a lot to mitigate any potential burst.
Just to bring us back to that Caps discussion, as much as he did so well in that Misfits series, I feel like G2 in the Vitality series, it was very side lane dependent, and side lanes were the ones kind of popping off and carrying through the series, and Caps was quite quiet, so was Perkz, and that was a form of G2 where mid-jungle wasn't the main focal point of the entire roster. This is a series where the mid-jungle is dictating the whole pace of the game, so I think not only have we seen versatility from G2 in playstyles and draft, but you don't really know what kind of G2 you're going to get in a series.
Certainly feels like it. And, you know, everyone was skeptical of the G2 roster at the beginning of the year. You know, they lost a lot of superstar, or a lot of big names, I should say. They wanted to take a gamble. So far, the gamble is paying off. Charm lands.
Absolutely. Hook follow-up. The Lantern is there. Do they have enough burst damage to knock him down? Not quite.
They get the flash, though, and that's a small advantage. They didn't really overcommit anything. Targamas did invest the Ignite as a potential kill option, but that doesn't matter. They now have control over the river, and the pings are coming down. Are they just going to bait this one out, or they actually? It looks like they're just going to maintain the control for now.
Yeah, it looks pretty hard to just start it up. Wunder has TP, so even though he's chunked out, he will return to the fight. The problem is Fnatic need to get some vision around this Baron. Last time they had a TF, so they could kind of cheat the vision, but now they have absolutely no wards in the river.
Look at this bot wave as well. G2 have pushed this one all the way in, and this means that Warren can actually rotate from base, group up with the jungle, and they actually have a numbers advantage already on the Baron. This means that they could start it off, maybe force a TP out from Wunder, and then set up the play once again, and force Fnatic into an even more awkward situation. Never mind.
Running to Caps to give him an item.
The difficult thing about not having a traditional hyper carry is your Baron take is relatively slow, all things considered. You also have a tank top laner, so it does still take a little while. They don't have the luxury of, well, Kaisa and Aphelios on their team, so they won't just instantly delete that objective. Of course, it is going to get easier the later we go, but for now, Fnatic not too scared of the Baron.
I love how Vedis' point was all correct. Macro-wise, it was like, yes, that's exactly what he's going to do. And he runs up, gives Caps an item, and then runs back bot, refuses to elaborate. Still another good play, but so simple that we didn't think about it. Or an item's coming through every level. We'll give another item over to G2. For now, it looks like...
This bot wave still is unanswered from Fnatic. They're just bleeding farm right now. They're not sending anyone to go and deal with it. They have 2 teleports, but a Kaisa teleport is a little bit awkward, and they kind of want to keep Wunder with the team, so Fnatic is just kind of losing control. The top wave is pushed into G2, bot wave is pushed, and I think the only reason they're doing this is because they know the next Drake is spawning and they want to contest.
Yeah, they want to play bot side. Both teams, Jankos looking for some kind of flank. Hylissang knows he's around here, does spot him out. Does he look for the hook?
Hook is going to connect onto Jankos, waiting for the flag and drive, but Jankos holding it this time around. Q goes in. So hard for Razork without a flank to find a priority target. The Ahri, as well as the Xayah, both a lot of self-peel tools that make that kick so difficult.
The Kaisa W is great for face checks, but if it doesn't hit a target, it's such a long cooldown. We'll see if they can steal this with the Lantern, because the way they're positioned, they're not looking for a fight. G2 and Fnatic stand off for the Dragon. Can Razork get in the pit and get out with it? If he dies, I think G2 is going to run towards Baron.
Decent damage. Body block, though, means the reset is there. And easy Dragon pickup for G2, holding on to their 5k gold lead, now at 3 Drakes as well, looking for their second Hextech Soul of the series.
Even though it's starting to hurt a bit with those Kaisa Ws, will only really get worse when he builds towards more AP items. And the second it hits, the cooldown is so low that you can just fire off another one within a couple seconds. But if it misses, you have to wait so long to get another shot off.
So G2, they walk away uncontested with another Drake. They now find themselves at Soul Point once again. They have the top wave also slightly pushed in their favor. And remember, they haven't lost a tower yet. They find themselves, they've only dropped a Drake. Of course, they have dropped kills, so they're not quite near that perfect game moniker, but they've been winning all their lanes. They've been moving around the map so much better.
Waiting.
Fnatic in danger.
G2 gonna go for the fish. Hylissang. The charm not hitting there is massive. Hylissang, no way to proc his aftershock in that pit, would have instantly died.
What you often see teams do is when there's a pink over the wall and you want to clear it out, they'll often just pull the Baron. So the Baron's hitting you while you try to clear out the wall. The problem I think Hylissang would have had there is if the charm hit, not only would Caps be hitting him, but so would the Baron. So lucky for him, he does get out. Does try to get a little bit of vision for Fnatic, but for now it just looks like they're catching sides. Caps has got 3 items, Humanoid as well.
No, that very situation gave me like Faker Season 3 vibes. You guys remember when he used to just sit in Fog of War and look for support specifically? He would just hunt for supports trying to warm ward, and then he would just kill them over and over and over
For
again.
context, if you were a support in Season 3, you know this, but if you didn't play, then you might not know this. You weren't allowed to buy items. You had to spend all of your money on wards because they didn't just give them to everyone for free. So it was a really dark time to play the role.
And he would buy an Oracle's Elixir, sit in Fog of War, and then he'd be like, hello, support.
Yanko's sitting in Fog of War. Knockback on the target miss is good. Randall makes him pretty tanky, though. He's staying alive for now. Caps off to the side, trying to burst down. LEC, one shot before the fight even kicks out. That's the Faker flashback we were looking for. The root, the knockup. Upset peeling back. Instantly, Humanoid leaps to the backside, though. He's got big burst damage, but he needs to proc the plasma. It will not happen. G2 still taking the fight. The double for Flacket. Absolute dominance in the exchange.
Oh, Caps take a bow. That fight was so phenomenal. Now Razork in trouble.
Knock up from Brokeblade. Razork trying to step away. Surely no way he gets out of this one. Warthop is there. Flacket. Q flash through. Gonna finish it.
And that is that. 4 members of Fnatic are dead. Their early game looked pretty good. It looked like they were going toe-to-toe with G2, but pick after pick, fight after fight, objective after objective, it is G2 that have climbed their way back. And at 28.5 minutes, they will secure their first Baron of the game.
Eyes on Caps. We talked about Caps so much throughout this game, and it felt like this was a playoffs where Caps had to prove himself that he could go toe-to-toe with the mid laners like Larson, like Humanoid, all of these. VTO just popping up so much. Dashes over the wall. Charm onto Hylissang, instantly pops him, gets kicked, gets another charge of the R ult, flash ults away. Now, Humanoid dives in. Razork and Humanoid versus Caps. He dashes to the side once again, dashes again, and then he dodges Razork's Q so he lives. So while G2's fighting the rest of Fnatic, Caps is just dancing around the mid jungle of Fnatic.
He single-handedly took out 3 people from the fight, right? Look at the smirk on his face. That's the Caps you love to see. Upset literally didn't get to play. He had Jarvan ult thrown at him. He had the Ornn ult thrown at him. It's an 80 carries nightmare.
And I remember Cap said in an interview, I can't remember where it was. I think it was like week 2 or week 3. He said, it's really hard for me to play on stage because I don't really feel so much pressure when there's no crowd. And it didn't really feel the same, but now there's a crowd. He just looks so unlocked. Claps is back now. Jankos.
And Jankos unstoppable with the ultimate. Brokeblade fishing for the follow-up. Hylissang going to be dead. There's not even a fight here to be had. Jankos isolated, but it's Razork and Wonder who are now in trouble. Targamas Flacket relatively low, but there's no follow-up here. Humanoid has the ultimate. Maybe they can look to get something done, but Caps is just too strong.
He's dashing and dashing.
Wonder locked up. It's going to take a while to kill the Gragas, but they're going to keep him here. Burning through the true damage on the Ahri. Certainly paying off. Upset ready to set up with a follow-up ultimate if he can find it there. Is it going to be big damage firing back? Upset trying to turn it, but Brokeblade still standing for now. Goes Golden Caps ready for the follow-up. CC'd the snare. Not going to go in. He's still standing. Humanoid locked up. Humanoid taken out. Targamas and Flacket making the 2v1 work.
Oh, it's all G2, baby, once again here in Game 2. It looks like they're not going to push too much more. It's Flacket versus Upset for now. Hylissang is up. Dragon in 50 seconds time. Every single play Fnatic are looking for. G2 are just one step ahead.
G2 continuing to defy expectations. We had a crazy start to the split when you think about the expectations for Rogue, the expectations for Vitality, Fnatic, G2. It was not expected that G2 would be at this level this early on, but look at how they absolutely dominate Fnatic, and the engage is clean.
I mean, you just have to watch Caps once again in this replay. Gets the first kill, gets the reset, zones away Humanoid, follows through with his team who are just a unit, and after this fight ensues, they do split up a bit. There is like 2 different skirmishes going on, but G2 again winning out on both, and now Targamas.
Fishing with the hook. Hylissang gets hooked back and responds. And here's Brokenblade. They're on the pinch, rinse and repeat. You've seen it before. G2, 2 kills for Flacket.
Former teammates.
Wonder trying to get a sidestep on, but you just can't sidestep at all. Here we go. Hook in. Not going to connect. Wonder can sidestep at all, but G2 looking to break the base.
Absolute destruction from G2. They ended game 1 just short of 30 minutes. They're looking to end game 2 just over it, and they have the Nexus in their eyes.
G2 looking to make a match point, pushing in. There's just nothing here for Fnatic. Humanoid, yes, he's got some damage, but not nearly enough to kill all 5 members of G2. This time, there is no time for fountain dives. G2 focused on taking us to match point.
Wow. Jankos, after that game, put his hands in the air, side to side, calming his team down. He said, you know, 2 in the bag, but let's keep it cool.
And now Fnatic are the ones facing a 0-2. Can they be the ones to find a reverse sweep? Rogue did it last weekend, but G2 just looks so dominant from start to finish. As much as we highlight Caps popping off, the side lane's doing so much, like Brokenblade with his solo play, single-handedly tanking.
Flacket and Targamas 2v2 killing them.
Flackett's still 1 death so far in the last 7-8 games of playoffs that he's played against Misfits, Vitality, and now Fnatic. All of G2 just look on
Wait, is Flacket actually not died in these last 2 games here?
This game he had 0 deaths. I can't check about